Okay, I'm very much an amateur at this, so let's see how this goes. But I wanted to try demonstrating just navigating the wiki a little bit because it was faster than me trying to type everything out. So I'm on the main page here. I need to see about updating this because it's all very old. But usually there aren't that many major updates recently, but I don't know when I don't keep up, y'all, with the wiki. I'm so sorry, but I don't know. I assume the spoiler ban is close to up for Elysian Chapter 1. And so once that gets added to, oh, and this should get updated to actually the top nav so that it says Book 10 Elysian. And once info for Chapter 1 gets added here, I should add that to this slider. And actually, I should teach someone how to update this slider because I'm never on here. Anyway, tangent. Already we're tangenting. But yes, technical stuff is a lot of what I do. So off the bat, you're already learning that. Okay, cut there. I was checking if the recording was working and it is awesome. Okay. So I'm on the wiki. I use this toolbar here a lot. You can see it pops in and out with this little wrench icon here, and you can customize it. And it's super useful because you can really put whatever wiki links you want in here, and then kind of pop around the wiki using it. I haven't updated mine in a while, as you can see, because this links to wiki activity, which was the old like recent changes. Well, recent changes has always been around, but there used to be wiki activity, which was like a little bit like it had like everything in it. It had like discussion stuff, like forum, which was the precursor to discussions, and comments and all of that in one feed. And that was wiki activity. But that has not been around since well, 2020, 2021. But I'm still not as good with recent changes as I was with wiki activity, and I still never really learned discussions since that changed from forum. This was like, there was this giant fandom update from, I think they called it the Unified Community Platform because they were combining Gamepedia with fandom. And this was also around when they moved all of the URLs from .wikia to .fandom. Anyway, I never really adjusted to all of those changes. I'm not good with discussions. I miss forum. Sorry. So anyway, I need to update this. But you can just hit little customize on this and you can update whatever is on your toolbar. Um, let's see. Oh, it's not even letting me change wiki activity? I oh, is it under a list of advanced? Let's see here. No, that's just a link to community. Oh, this is also a great thing to know about Community Central. Use it all the time. I especially use it a lot when I was learning. They have tons of help pages for all learning all kinds of things. Very, very helpful. Um, Design accessibility, like whatever you want to learn, Community Central is a great resource. Anyway, tangent. Some of the things I have linked in my toolbar are watch, so I can follow a page, what links here, because I always like to know what's linking to a page, delete in a quick link, uh, my tools, new pages, since I always want to know, check what's new for vandalizations, special pages, we'll get to all pages, that kind of thing. You can add to this, you can delete, you can rearrange, yeah, my tools. Although I'm not seeing wiki activity in here, which is bizarre because is that just still in the toolbar from like 4 years ago? Is that like a fandom problem? Fascinating. Anyway, it has popular tools here, so these are some suggested ones you could pick from. History, so if you click that, it'll take you to the history of a page. Insights, I think that's maybe an admin thing. Move, content mod thing if you want to move the page to a different title. Random page, recent changes. That's like wiki activity. I guess maybe it's the same thing. Recent changes in wiki activity. I don't know. Anyway, this video is going to be way too long. I'm a yapper. Moving on. I love my little toolbar. Let's see. Recent changes. Yeah, recent changes is a different link from wiki activity, like I thought. So why is that still wiki activity? Fascinating. I don't know why. I'll figure that out later. My tools. I love special pages. Special pages is what I really part of what I wanted to demonstrate, but this isn't a demonstration, but it's very similar to the admin dashboard, which administrators have access to, but just kind of less fancy, but it's a lot of the same links. Special pages is like a great go-to for all of the reports, all of the technical stuff in case you're ever wanting to learn anything. Maintenance reports, that's for like content mods, administrators, let's look at blah, blah, blah. We're going to go to users and rights because I wanted to show off the user list. But this is a great thing to just browse through and learn some stuff. It's lots of fun, I think, but I'm a huge nerd in case that wasn't abundantly obvious. User list. What I was going to demonstrate is how you can see who has the most contributions. You can just edit until it shows you the top, and it's crazy. With people with over 50,000, if you can see, you can scroll through, sorry, that was from my era. You can kind of scroll through. You'll find me eventually. I'm at like 15,000 somewhere. Nam was from my era. There I am right here. 15,000. Yep. So you can scroll through and find that. Pretty crazy. Like I was saying, really a group effort for Wiki. You can sort by last edited, group's username. You can filter by right. So for example, something interesting, deselect all if you want to just pick one. Bureaucrats, those are the people who can adjust user rights. You can see moderators. SOAP, spam obliteration prevention, is a fandom role. Those are the people who are in charge of like helping clean up vandalization, and they're great. They're really good at it. When we've had like very rare occasion, we've had like really big spam attacks on the wiki. You can call in SOAP to come help out, and they're really, really good at cleaning it up fast and well, even things that are really tricky to figure out how to fix. And you can see just who the SOAP people on here are. And the SOAP bot, which will like undo page blanking automatically and that kind of thing. Super cool stuff, I think. But what was I going to show? Let's go back to everybody. And oh yeah, I was going to talk about wiki history. So I'm going to filter by last edited and go to the earliest. This is where it gets interesting. So the wiki was originally founded by this person, Colton Schoen, who it used to have a little tag that said founder, but that doesn't show up anymore. But when in like 2017, I messaged fandom and I was like, would you remove all of these old admins as bureaucrats? Because you can't remove someone as a bureaucrat. They can only remove themselves as one, or fandom can do it. But I didn't remove the founder just because I thought it was cool to have the founder still tagged in there. Who added this? This is the user who created the wiki. Ah, Nom did that. Anyway, this was the founder of the wiki. They made the page, they made the wiki, and then they kind of pretty quickly abandoned it. They didn't really do much after that, as you can see, because their last edit was in 2013, which was like the day the wiki got created, as you can see, because default is the same last edited date as the founder, which is pretty common. Wikis are very, very hard to like jumpstart to create because there's so much to write about and they're very difficult to start. Especially because you don't really have that support at the beginning. And so it's pretty common for them to get pretty quickly abandoned. And so fandom has an adoption process. So the person who came along and adopted it was Rayah. And I think it was fairly quickly afterwards, maybe 2014. But we can find that if we go to her oldest contributions. Yep, 2014, April 2014. So only about a month after it got abandoned, she came along. I can thank her for this ancient edit. That would be so funny, but I won't. Came along and adopted the wiki and started really getting it going again. And as you can see, like only so much. Like there were definitely people helping out, but like a list of users who last edited between this 2013 and 2019 date is like 20 users. It's very few. So either people stuck around longer than that, or just not that many people were around. Which I think is some of both. And you had some also of the original admins in here, some of the original people. So I joined the wiki in late 2017. And I knew of it because it was an established presence. I was in actually a role play group, and I had referenced the wiki for things like foods and elven abilities, the kinds of things where like you need like a list because it's hard to just like pull that from the books, but you want to know like what ability should my character have? So you go to the wiki and you look through the list, or what are my characters eating? So you go through the wiki and you look through the list of foods. Those pages have been along like some of the longest time. And so I came along and started helping out on the wiki, kind of after learning it through referencing it myself. And eventually, I joined late 2017, I think like right around when Nightfall came out, maybe like the day after or the day of. Um, and then in very early 2018, kind of took it over from Rayah. All of the other admins were inactive at the time, and she was kind of wanting to move on, but there hadn't really been much of anybody to pass it on to who was like as active as me and as interested in learning everything there was to learn and championing it and doing everything there was. And so I took over. And I also appointed another admin, Eva, right around, I think pretty immediately, who was my co-admin for pretty much the whole duration of the time. Cluster bursts. I imagine she's somewhere in that top edit spot too, although maybe not, because she didn't really do content stuff. She was like the community head. She was wonderful, wonderful, and really took care of a lot of the community stuff so that I could focus on the content. Yeah, that's kind of like the major history stuff is that there was sort of a founder, but then Raya was kind of the main person. It had about 300 pages, I think, maybe a little under, maybe like 290 when I came along, and pretty quickly, it really started blowing up around that time. I think that I was in there in that pocket. Which I've said I think is like Nightfall was the first Keeper Luxity's book to hit the bestseller list. Like I think Keeper was kind of just getting more popular-ish around the time too. But I don't know, it was always popular. But it was a big time for the wiki. I was very excited to get the offer to be like and the administrator, kind of the owner. I for a long time I called myself the co-owner with Raya, but she kind of left, so now I just call myself the owner because it looks better on job applications. Yeah, this is a cool page. Wiki history is very cool. I've had wonderful time. And so I kind of think of the wiki in three phases. Like there have probably been more phases that I don't know about now, but like that first phase with Raya, that second phase with me and Eva, and then the third phase since then with all of the other mods and admins that have come since then post me. Eva and I kind of handed off the wiki to a new admin team. We worked with other admins a little bit before we passed it off. We worked with Soldiering Song briefly with Minty. I believe Gildy replaced Eva before I stepped down, or maybe Gildy replaced me. Something like that. There were lots of people who came in to help out. But then we kind of I fully stepped back in that like August of 2020 spot, and handed it off to everyone else, but have maintained my content moderator rights because no one has kicked me out yet. And because like I do that main page stuff and all of that, and I come in and do these little tutorials and help people out, so it's just convenient for me to have rights even if I don't really do anything or keep up with much a lot of the time. So yeah, this is my little show around. I would be happy to do like a VC where I tour a little bit more of what I've done on the wiki, what my day to day looks like when I was more active, show around a little more of these special pages or what I've done in what I do on recent changes when I'm like patrolling. The patrol feature is really cool, actually. That was like a special request I made to get that added to our wiki so that we could patrol edits more effectively. Lots of cool stuff that we have on here, and I would love to talk about it or like talk about the changes I made, whatever people are interested in. But yeah, sorry if this is very long. I'm gonna cut it off now. All right. Peace and love.